Evening all. We're in our alberg. This is the first alberg we've ever stayed in, and it's quite nice. It's all right. We've got a big room to ourselves. We didn't do the, share the bunk bed thing. We did get the private room thing with the bathroom. So, there are people about. There are other Camino people, but we have a door between them and us. We're frightened of them because, they could be happy clappy or something, and we don't want that. We're private people. So, there may have been a fantasy or two floating about, not probably with Suzanne, probably more with me, of us, going downstairs and sitting and talking to people and maybe singing the odd verse of Kumbaya. But that's not happened because we're really not like that. We're private, elderly people doing a long walk. Anyway, yes. A couple of things. Well, more than a couple of things maybe. Depends on how long I want this to go on for, because the video's been quite long today because of the hill we walked up, and I took great pains and risked my life to film the climb. Someone sent me an email having watched one of the videos where I said I felt 10 seconds of, anger flowing in all directions, displaced from my falling over. And I'd like to say something on this 10 seconds thing. Oh yeah, she also said it's nice to see that a therapist is a real human being, if only for 10 seconds. But the interesting thing about 10 seconds is this. This is 10 seconds. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. It's quite a long time. It's quite a long time to feel randomly angry because you fell over, to feel angry at the road, the stones, the sky, the moon, my wife, the world at large, God knows what. It's actually quite a long time. And it's not my habit to be such a person, I don't like that phrase, to be in such a place. So once I see myself there, I don't want to be there. Lots of people are angry for extended periods of time, but initially it's only a short thing. What they then do is they kind of nurture it. They kind of take that anger and treat it like a child and place it to the breast and feed it and nurture it and grow it out of all proportions, which is something I've learnt not to do. That's not to say I haven't done it in the past, but it's something I've learnt not to do. I've learnt to recognise the feeling, what it is, and it's a real thing. There's nothing wrong with it. I've just learnt to let a feeling come and go. Feelings come and go. One does not need to become a feeling. One doesn't have to be angry. One can feel angry and then let that feeling pass. One can feel things and let those feelings pass. So that's just a kind of a reply to an email that I was sent. It's just a thing you can learn to do. It's nothing special. It doesn't make a therapist a special person. Anybody can do it. It takes a little bit of practice, maybe a lot of practice, I don't know. And then you can let that go. Then there were the other things that I wanted to talk about. They came up the other day, and I sort of not got round to sort of mentioning them and going through them. So I like to go through at least one of them. And the one I'm going to go through right now is gratitude. Now, gratitude is an interesting thing. It's actually one of the traits that psychologically healthy people have. So, if you are someone who tends to be grateful, your psychological health tends to be higher than the person that's not. And I don't mean sort of happy, clappy, crazy, everything's brilliant and wonderful. I don't mean that. That's sort of just empty nonsense. Actual gratitude, to be able to look at things and be grateful and not divide things up into what I want and what I don't want, what I like and what I don't like, what I love and what I hate, that type of binary thinking, and instead be grateful for what is going on around you. Yes, the opportunities that maybe a problem presents, to be grateful for what you have, to be grateful for who you are in a particular moment, to be grateful for the company that you have, this type of thing, gratitude, rather than always wanting something else, things never being good enough for you, always feeling empty. Gratitude gives you a sense of being full, being sated, whereas many people don't feel that. They have a tendency to want more and more and more and be more and more and more grabbing. Nothing is ever good enough, and that comes from the self. Yes, nothing's ever good enough for the individual because they themselves are not enough. When you become grateful, you become enough. You're grateful for yourself primarily, and then everything else falls into place. And how this relates to the Camino is simply this. When you walk the Camino, and it's kind of a seductive way of living, to be honest, I'm kind of seduced by myself, this being my fourth. You pack a bag and you put it on your back. And mine's too heavy, I admit, but you pack a bag and you put it on your back. Now, that's what you've got. Aside from what you can purchase along the way, drink, food, accommodation, that is what you've got, the thing on your back. And all this other stuff that people grab at, want, need, desire, it kind of just falls away. It becomes a very, very simple existence where you're grateful, for a chair, somewhere to sit, because you've been on your feet for whatever hours. You're grateful to sit down, perhaps to sit in the sun because your clothes are wet from rain or your clothes are wet from sweat, and you just want to sit down in the sun and maybe dry out a little bit. Yes. It is that type of gratitude for a very, very simple thing. Grateful for cold water. When you have walked far in the sun and you're thirsty, and my water eventually gets warm because I'm carrying it, to be able to go into a cafe and get a bottle of water from a fridge. I mean, I'm truly grateful for refrigeration, cold water. This type of simple thing, fruit. In these countries, Spain, Portugal, places like that, fruit is abundantly available, and it's gorgeous. It's better than it is in England for some reason. I don't know. Maybe we get hydroponic food. I don't know what degrades through transport, but it's here. It's fresh out of the field, and it's in your hand, and it's so much better. I have a thing for cherries. I love cherries. Yes. And I'm grateful when a shop's selling cherries, and I can just buy, and they're cheap as well. They're really inexpensive, and I can buy a kilo of cherries for like €3. In England, that'd be like 10 quid. So a kilo of cherries and just munch through them. Just wonderful. Really, really, really wonderful. To be grateful for good company. Yeah. This is it. The thing the Camino teaches you. I've got my book here, by the way, my pebble book, which I've shown before, and it's just got a note or two in there just to remind me what I wanted to say. It's just it's a simpler way of living, and it is really seductive when the life, at least I have in the UK, is filled with, well, I suppose not so much these days, but in the past has been filled with rubbish. You want a bigger car or something, I don't know, more ornamentation in your home, a better kitchen, bathroom, I don't know, staff. Whereas here, it's just simple. It's a very, very simple thing. So that's what I wanted to share with you about gratitude. Be grateful. Yes, even when you're walking with someone, keeping company with someone, and they're not exactly the person you may want to be with, they may have something to offer you. Yes, or you may have something to offer them. I don't know, but there may be something in that situation for you, even in a situation where you're not, I don't know, at your best, or it is not at its best, or whatever. There may be something there for you. You may be there for a reason. There may be purpose in this. There may be design in it. I don't know. Be grateful. Look to it. Don't divide up into want and don't want. Instead, look to it and say, okay, what is there for me in this situation? What can I gain from this? How can I grow from this? And be grateful for the opportunities. So, yeah, that's the first bit. So I'm going to stop this video because it's 10 minutes. Yes, I may speak again on the second subject. Ooh, you're so lucky. Not really.